I watched Emperor's New Groove 20 years ago. I joined the majority in thinking that Yzma was the villain, when in reality, watching it now as someone who's experienced the corporate world and what it takes to run a country, I realized that we were all wrong, and Yzma has so many positive leadership lessons to teach us if we only give her a chance. Kuzco doesn't even want to be in government. We see him acting with complete disregard to the bureaucracies and traditions that are required of a leader. On the other hand, Yzma is sitting there on the throne, listening to the concerns of the peasants. Yeah, she doesn't have the most empathy, but when you're listening to peasants complain, would you? Would you? And after doing the work of governing the country and practically raising an 18-year-old emperor, she gets fired. Fired!
Oh, and by the way, you're fired.
Fired? What do you mean, fired?
How else can I say it? You're being let go, your department's being downsized, you're part of an outplacement. We're going in a different direction, we're not picking up your option. Take your pick. I got more.
But
She dedicated her life, her entire career to this country, and just to be completely disregarded and let go? I'm surprised that she didn't become murderous right away. And then when she does get fired, her immediate thought isn't to just go and murder the emperor. No, she's pacing around back and forth, and Kronk is the one to suggest that she should put her anger out on the real Kuzco. And she hasn't even thought this plan through completely, and her initial ideas are pretty much shit.
well, I know. I'll turn him into a flea. A harmless little flea. And then I'll put that flea in a box. And then I'll put that box inside of another box. And then I'll nail that box to myself. And when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer. It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant!
I mean, it's completely stupid. And then after she thinks everything through, her and Kronk come up with a plan, and she entrusts the most pivotal crux of the plan, the actual murder, to Kronk. Not because she's incapable, but because he is early in his career and he needs those opportunities to grow and develop his skills.
He's what, in his late 20s?
I'm not sure.
And even though it wasn't his strength to kill Kuzco, because obviously he failed at it, she still appreciates the strength that he had in preparing the desserts and coffee.
Finish the job now!
What about dinner?
Kronk, this is kind of important.
How about dessert?
Well, I suppose there's time for dessert.
And coffee?
All right, a quick cup of coffee. Then take him out of town and finish the job.
She's a great boss, and she doesn't just appreciate Kronk, she appreciates the other employees as well and gives them space to manage their mental health. When all of the different guards get turned into animals, she gives them the flexibility whether to stay at work and perform or to go home and process.
Hey, I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home?
You're excused. Anyone else?
Ultimately, when Kronk fails to complete the murder, he doesn't feel scared of going to Yzma and telling her the truth.
He's still alive!
Well, it's not as dead as we would have hoped.
Kronk!
She has to pull it out of him, but he doesn't lie. He doesn't try to solve this problem on his own. He knows that she's a boss that he can trust. Thus, they have this open relationship of going and fixing the problem of killing the emperor. And throughout that process, she realizes that he has skills and talents, and she gives him the space to perform, even though she initially thinks that talking to squirrels is super weird. But when he tells her, excuse me, I need some space, she doesn't demand, hey, excuse you, I'm the, functioning emperor. No, she gives him the space to do the thing that she needs him to do in order to get the information so that they can both be successful. She doesn't micromanage. And then continuing on the journey, when he discovers that he has other skills like cooking.
What is he doing in there? What's taking so long?
Back up!
Kronk, what are you doing?
Kinda busy here.
Why am I not surprised?
The order's up!
Oh well. While you're at it, make me the special. And hold the gravy.
She lets him explore those extracurricular work hobbies instead of telling him that his job responsibilities are extremely limited in scope. Okay, she supports him in his goals. And she pushes him and encourages him to grow and try new things like murder. But when it's beyond what he wants to do and is comfortable doing, like destroying the really fancy door,
Break the door down.
Break it down. What, you kidding me? This is hand-carved mahogany.
I don't care, you fool. Get out of my way. I'll break it down myself.
she doesn't force him into those uncomfortable areas for him. And at the end of the movie, when she does get mad at him, all of her insults against him are ad hominem fallacies, completely emotional arguments.
Do you want to know something else? I've never liked your spinach puffs. Never.
This is emotional, not professional, which, if you remember, she's already going through an emotional time in her life when she was laid off from the only job she's ever known, and she's qualified for by a child. I just think in our personal careers, we should all be like Yzma.